What's up, guys? I'm Mike from StockedUp, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have some awesome news for you guys today. In this video, we're going to be covering the Tesla offering news, how the stock market is at all-time highs, some news with Apple, and even some news with a possible stimulus deal. And at the end of the video, we have a $17 million call option that we are eyeing for the next couple days. It's pretty huge, so make sure you guys stick around to the end of the video. And if you're not already subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. Tom and I post brand new videos every single day. But Tom, what happened in the stock market today?
Yeah, there was huge news today that actually hurt a lot of traders today because a lot of people were actually swinging Tesla calls, and Tesla went ahead and actually did a share offering just like we'd actually predicted that they might do as their share price actually keeps skyrocketing. And you can see that this morning in pre-market, once this was announced, Tesla really took a pretty big drop to the downside. But then once the market actually opened, they ended up coming right back. But this was pretty big news. They're going to have a $5 billion offering, and they're going to sell their shares from time to time. So just keep in mind that this is not going to be $5 billion offered all at one time. They're going to do this strategically at different points, and nobody really knows when they're going to do it except for the executives at Tesla and obviously Elon Musk.
Yeah, that's awesome. So like we've been talking about for the past couple of days, share offerings typically hurt the underlying stock in the short term, but benefit them in the long term. So with Tesla, like Tom said, they're doing $5 billion worth of stock. Basically, Tesla is just going to be selling stock, and they're going to sell about $5 billion worth of it. And this is going to give them capital to invest and, just help their business for the long term. So, it sucks to see in the short term for everyone who is looking for Tesla to just skyrocket, but they ended up coming back today, and it's going to be good for them in the long term anyways.
Yeah, and their valuation is really high up there now, well over the $500 million or $500 billion mark, which is really good for them. So this new valuation comes in at just under 1% of their value. So it's not even really 1% of Tesla anymore, this $5 billion offering. So just keep that in mind. The offering is only about 1% of the actual stock price.
Yep. And then what other news happened in the market today?
Yeah, there was actually more stimulus news, just like we've been talking about over the past few days. And McConnell said that he says, what I recommend is that we set aside liability and set aside state and local and pass those things that we can agree on, knowing full well that we'll be back at it after the first of the year. So he sent this as a transition to President-elect Joe Biden's administration today. And he's pretty much just saying that, look, let's just get a very straightforward bill passed right now. And then later on, after the first of the year, we can go ahead and once Congress resumes, we'll actually go ahead and get a full bill passed with all of those liabilities and different things added in that a lot of people are fighting for right now. But he just wants to go ahead and get just a streamlined bill passed pretty quickly before the end of the year. And obviously tomorrow they're going to have another vote on a different bill, which is actually going to keep the government open until December 18th. And that is pretty much set in stone to pass because they have to obviously be in session to go ahead and keep arguing about the regular stimulus bill.
Yeah, well, that's good to see. Obviously, the sooner we get a stimulus deal, the better. And then what's going on with Apple?
Yeah, Apple had a crazy day. I mean, their executives warned that they may remove apps that actually will track users without permissions. And this is pretty big news, as lately it seems everybody's being tracked everywhere. And I know a lot of people really care about their privacy, especially on these apps and different things like that. And Apple has great encryption code on texting and everything to try and be as private as possible in the modern era. And I think that most Apple users will like that they're actually trying to be even more private by blocking, tracking without your permission, which is a pretty big thing to a lot of people. Because I know that there's a lot of people out there that obviously are pretty skeptical about companies tracking them for different reasons. So I think that this just makes Apple even just that much safer. And I think a lot of people will be even more interested in getting an iPhone, knowing that they're that much safer.
Yeah, consumers really value that privacy and security. So I think this is going to be a good shift for Apple. I think their audience and their customers will really like it.
Yeah, definitely. And then the last news is that really the market is at all-time highs. Dow futures opened up on Monday night, hitting around 30,265, and today they came just about to those levels. The SPY today actually hit a new intraday high, which was awesome, and had the highest closed ever yet. So that's awesome for the SPY, and also the Nasdaq did pretty well as well. And there was some stocks that surprised a lot of traders today, like AT&T, for example, popping about 4%, and they're generally known to be a pretty solid value stock that doesn't have big green candles like this. And you can see the last time that they were this volatile was back during the drop whenever the virus started coming back around.
Awesome. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good point. It's good to see T to start to pop up, and we are at all-time highs, so it's definitely something to pay attention to. So, now let's get into our Discord member of the day. Today's member of the day is MD Trade, and he made a post in the Discord chat saying, "Thank you for all you do in the Discord. Big help. Small account getting larger." The main players were PFE, X, and T. And if we take a look at the image he posted, he grew his account by about 40% today. So great job, MD Trade, and keep it up. But now let's get into our momentum plays for tomorrow. In DraftKings, like you said, Tom, had a pretty awesome day today. So I'm definitely eyeing them to possibly continue up for tomorrow. So what levels should we be watching?
Yeah, I would actually make them pop above $51.
All right, with the next one, we have Fastly.
Fastly, FSLY. Go ahead and actually make them pop above $100.80.
All right, and then we have PFE.
PFE Pfizer. This is a big one as of late. 42.77.
All right, and then last but not least, we have BBBY.
Bed Bath and Beyond. I love that ticker. BBBY. It always gets me. Make them fall below 1850.
Yeah, and this one's potentially to the downside, though. So we could see it's kind of bleeding off a little bit over the past couple days. So overall, we're eyeing DraftKings, Fastly, and Pfizer potentially to the upside, only if they can break above the level Tom listed. If they do break above that level, we are eyeing it for a quick day trade tomorrow morning to the upside, and we are eyeing BBBY potentially to the downside if it breaks below the level Tom listed. But now for the $17.5 million options trade for the next couple days, it is the Fastly 100 strike call options that expire this Friday, December 11th. So Fastly had an amazing day today, up about 15%. So this thing is really popping, and this when Fastly runs like this, it has a tendency to continue. So I'm definitely eyeing Fastly. Looking at these call options, are less than $3 out of the money. It looks like there's definitely a good chance of Fastly continuing, and who knows, they might even fill that big gap all the way up to about 130.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like they're even in a little bit of a bull flag on an intraday setup as well, which is awesome to see. And I just love to see this stock run. I know a lot of people have been interested in this lately, and it seems like we get questions in Discord every single day. Hey, Mike and Tom, should I go ahead and hold Fastly calls overnight and stuff like that? And it is a pretty risky stock, but it seems like in the short term it's going to do pretty well. And I really like this play with the calls. I don't think that they're shorting them, especially given that the stock was at $100 today. That's going to be about the top of this bull flag. So if it breaks out of this bull flag tomorrow, this could be a really good trade to possibly follow. And I think given the daily chart, there's definitely a lot of room to move to the upside.
Absolutely. And now for our questions from the previous episode. With the first question, we have William commenting for the algo. Any quick tips for what I can do after a red week? So thank you so much for leaving a comment. All comments really help us grow our channel. So thank you so much for that. But you also have a great question. So I'm going to say it again. Any quick tips for what I can do after a red week? So I've noticed a lot of traders make a common mistake where, like, let's just get it straight. No one is going to win every trade. Red weeks happen, red days happen, sometimes even red months happen. But after a red week, you don't want to get in like a downward spiral where what I've seen, especially in the Discord chat, is people might lose a trade. They might lose a couple trades and they have a red week. And then they're down and they want to start over leveraging on their positions. So like, for example, let's say you have a $1,000 account, and like, let's say you have a bad week and now you're down to a $750 account. I see a lot of people just say, all right, you know what? I already lost $250. I'm just going to put all $750 in this next trade so I can make up for all of my losses. And it just leads to a really bad habit and a really bad really bad habit, and you just really don't want to do that. That's one of the main things I noticed. But just understand, no one's gonna win every trade, and red weeks are definitely gonna happen. So, Tom, do you have any tips for this?
Yeah, I mean, trading's very difficult, just like you said. It's just one of those it's a very hard thing to, especially when you're new, to get accustomed to. And one thing to keep in mind is like, it's almost like baseball. So, like, sometimes you'll see some teams, doing pretty well, and sometimes you'll see them doing pretty bad. And let's just say it's like a hitter, for example, and he's hitting a lot of home runs. For like a few months, that hitter might hit a lot of home runs and do very well, and then for the next month, that hitter might strike out. And it's almost like that with the market. You can't win every single trade. You might win 75% of them, 80%, 90% if you're really good, but just keep in mind that you can still lose 10% of the time, and that might come in little runs, like just like you said. So you might have had a red week, but you can bounce back possibly with 2 green weeks, or even one neutral week and then one green week, and then that could bounce you back. But just keep in the right mindset that you just have to keep pushing forward, and just to not make the same mistake you made last time. And like Mike said, a lot of the time that comes from over leveraging, because if you don't over leverage, there's not really any possible way you can lose a lot of your account at one time, and then that way you can keep your trades going.
Yeah, I mean, I never heard that connection between trading and baseball, but I like it. People get in hot streaks and, even losing streaks too. So I think you have a great question here. The main tips: don't over leverage, and, red weeks are just bound to happen for everyone. With the next question, we have Vinny saying, Mike and Tom, just wanted to say thank you for all the hard work you guys put in for the team. What are your thoughts on Roku? So thank you so much for that comment. Tom, what are you seeing with Roku?
Yeah, this is actually an insane pop. I mean, I'd never expected Roku to keep running up this high above the $300 level, which is crazy for me to see. And I'm just honestly, I would just play this as a straight up momentum play. They look very good on the intraday chart as well. I think if they break above 307.63, it could be an awesome play to the upside tomorrow. But I think that they're definitely getting to that point to where they're starting to be pretty overextended. I mean, they're almost double their 180 mark down here if they go up to 360, which honestly isn't too far away given the movement that they've had over the past few weeks. I could really see him pulling back possibly over the next year or so, but I think in the short term, you just have to keep riding this momentum up, and it seems like there's just no end in sight for them right now.
Yep. With the next question, we have Bravo saying, "Good work, guys. Enjoying your work. Can you take a look at MSGS, which is Madison Square Garden Sports?" So let's take a look. So MSGS is not looking too good this year, and they have a lot to do with like professional sports and things like that, and obviously with the illness this year and all that crazy stuff and going on in 2020. It's definitely not looking too good, but I would not be surprised if this stock does make a comeback once everything starts going back to normal. So it's an interesting stock to look at. It's still kind of beaten down since February and March. So like I'm not totally against it, but as long as sports are still like here until sports get back to normal, I would not expect this stock to do too good.
Yeah, and it almost looks like a Carnival Cruise Lines or like a cruise line stock, similarly to how it's actually stayed way down there during the virus, rather than recovering up like some bank stocks and the other tech stocks and stuff have.
Absolutely. And with the last question, we have Anthony saying, "Hey, Mike and Tom, help me out here. I'm interested in a Palantir 1 year leap option. Should I buy in the money, at the money, or out of the money based on the time horizon?" So this is a great question. The further you can get in the money, the better. That's going to make it so much more safe for you. But I'm actually pulling up an option right now. Like let's say we look here. Here's the thing: their options are pretty expensive, so I'm not sure what your intended investment amount is on this stock. But given that it is an IPO, I would strongly consider just buying like 100 shares outright at least, and then that would give you the ability to sell covered calls on that too. So if you really want to do an option, that's totally fine. Always trust your gut. But the closer, the further you get in the money, the more safe it's going to be, and just the overall better quality of the option you're going to get. If you're down to buy shares, personally, I would buy shares, and you could also sell covered calls off that. But always trust your gut. But Palantir is looking pretty good.
Yeah, they're looking good, but I'm actually pretty scared of a double top right here, or possibly a higher another lower high, which actually could be a pretty bad sign for them in the short term. It's just one of those stocks that's been running up the past year, and I'm actually really worried about the lower high given the way they had this red candle today, but hopefully they can keep going up. It's a really hot stock, and a lot of people have had it lately.
Yep. All right, Tom, do you have any last minute stocks, options, or any insight for the market for tomorrow?
Yeah, for sure. Cat is an awesome setup, I think, right now. It's starting to look pretty good on an intraday chart, and I just think it's starting to look like a pretty good stock, especially to the downside potentially and to the upside. I would honestly play this either way. It's playing off of a pretty long-term trend line right now, and I would watch for this stock to either bounce off of this trend line and start to continue up towards highs tomorrow, and we're about $5 or $6 away from those highs. And then if it goes ahead and falls below, and let's say it falls to like $176, then I think the cat could actually start falling down, because it really looks like that they're starting to get overextended, and the Dow is starting to hit all-time highs. So we could either ride that momentum to the upside, or we can start riding the momentum back to the downside here on cat. So it could really go either way, and I think it's a pretty good opportunity, for either setup here, just given on what the market does. And these are my favorite types of setups because it can really go either way, and then that way you're watching and you're actually waiting for something to happen rather than just instinctively buying the stock right then and there off of a feeling or just something you see in that moment.
Gotcha. So you're playing this basically 100% off the trend line.
Yeah, off of this really thick longer term trend line. That's what I'm playing off of right now. And if it starts to fall below it, then I'll actually go ahead and get some puts possibly on it tomorrow if it falls below tomorrow. But just keep in mind it does look pretty bearish. So if the Dow keeps posting new highs, I think that cat could also keep rising.
Gotcha. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys want to trade the same options as Tom and I and get access to the machine learning robot, you can click the Stocked Up Options Alerts link in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for all the comments, the likes, the shares, and the new subscribers. Tom and I really appreciate it. Comments really help grow our channel, so if you guys could just leave a little comment down below, we would really appreciate it. And if you guys aren't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. And if you guys have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. But other than that, thanks for watching.